All right, so today we're going to learn about three pronoun adjectives with some similar declensions to the naughty nine we learned a couple chapters back. Idem, ipse, and iste. And we're going to start off with idem. So let's take a look at it. Idem, yadem, idem. When we first look at these forms, we might be overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, a whole another set of forms to learn. Thought we were done with this. I'm tired. I'm grumpy. But let's hold the phone a minute. If we highlight the actual parts of these words that's changing, it's not the ending. So this is honestly the only really tricky part about idem, yadem, idem, is that you have to remember that the dem, we're so used to looking at the end of the word to get its case. Now we're actually going to look at the part before the dem. The dem is just sort of an ending that we slapped on there to make it clear that we're talking about idem, yadem, idem, and not is, id. Because if you look at the rest of the forms, we'll see, oh yeah, I've seen as, a, ayon, ayum, ayam, ao, ao. I've seen all these before. This is very similar to is, id. And because it is essentially the same exact forms as is, id with dem attached, the only change is in these irregular nominative forms. And then in the accusative, we see the M changes to an N before the D. All right, the M changes to an N before the D. Let's look at the plurals now. Again, maybe a little overwhelming when you first look at it, but when we highlight the parts that actually alter, we're going to recognize all these forms. These are the plural forms of is, id. Now there's really no difference at all. The only thing being, again, aorum, ayarum, and aorum have their M's changed to N's in front of the D, okay, in front of the dem. And again, this adjective, pronoun, right, and if it's a substantive, you could have it be a pronoun function, but largely adjective, we're going to translate as the same. Idem, yadem, idem, the same. And we'll look at a couple of specific translations types where idem is combined with atque to mean the same as in class tomorrow. But for right now, we're just going to worry about the formation of idem and the fact that it means the same, right? We just look at we drop off the dem, and that gives us our old is, id forms, and we can recognize those to tell us what case it is. All right, let's move on. Iste, stud. If you thought idem, yadem, idem's declension was easy, oh, you're going to love iste, stud. Iste, stud is essentially identical to what adjective we've learned already. I'll give you a second to guess it. Genius point. Wow, you guys are sharp. It is alay, ala, alud, right? Alay, ala, alud, iste, stud. They both literally, essentially even mean the same thing. That and that. It's just now it's iste, stud instead of ilay, ala, alud. We swap out an st for the double L, and otherwise these forms are exactly the same. The difference in meaning, you might be wondering, that of yours, that sounds weird. I'll show you a couple examples of that in a little bit. For right now, I also want to add that frequently when we use iste, stud, it's going to be used with an element of contempt. So it'd be like, that one over there. Like, oh, as though like, that one over there is despicable. Like, that one over there, okay? And that's how Cicero uses it very famously when he's talking about Catiline, the conspirator, and then later when he's working the law courts against a corrupt governor named Verres. You'll see this a bunch next year in Latin 3. All right, now we look at the plural forms. Oh, aren't those lovely? Yeah, we know all these endings. They're exactly the same as what type of adjective endings. 2-1-2 endings. No specialties here, just classic 2-1-2 endings, just like la, la, lud has. Let's look at a couple translations. If you want to pause the video here to try and translate these on your own, I will then provide you with the translations. Right now, 3, 2, 1. So if you haven't paused the video yet, here come the answers. That plan of yours is not good. Istud concilium, neuter nominative. That plan of yours is not good. I do not know why I put a comma there. I apologize. Let's delete that. That plan of yours is not good, right? So that's how it's different. Instead of that plan is not good, the istet implies that the person you're talking to has some sort of possession usually. Either that or it's would just mean that plan is not good in the sense of that plan with like negative connotation attached. All right, again here, I do not fear those soldiers of yours implied, right? I do not fear those soldiers of yours implied. So the person you're talking to, they belong to the person you're talking to. Alrighty, let's move on now. Ipse, ipsa, ipsum. Looking at these forms, again, really friendly, right? We've seen all these before. It's that classic naughty nine. Genitive and datives are ipsius, 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 ipsi, ipsi, ipsi. But then everything else is warm, comfortable 2-1-2 adjective endings, both in the singular and the plural. Nothing too funky going on. Funkiest thing about ipse, ipsa, ipsum is that it means self. And you might be doing a double take because we already know a word that functions as himself or herself or themself. Can you remember what that word is? Pause the video and see if you can think of it. It's se in Latin. So why do we have two words now? Ipse and se. Well, the reason for that is that ipse is purely an intensifier. Remember how we would use ego at the beginning of sentences, even though the subject is clear from the verb ending? Ego amo, I love. We could also just say amo. Why do we say ego? For intensification. And that's why we put ipse into a sentence sometimes, to intensify whatever it's modifying. So as opposed to se, which functions as a pronoun, refers back to the subject, but it has its own case. It has its own function in the sentence. If we were to take se out of its sentence, the sentence would no longer mean the same thing. It wouldn't make sense. So let's look at two quick examples. Vidi regum ipsum, I saw the king himself. If we take himself out here, still the same meaning. I saw the king, it's just a little bit less intense. You're less excited about it. Vidi regum ipsum, I saw the king himself. Can you believe this? As opposed to rex se vidit, the king saw himself. Now if we take himself out, it's the king saw. And the sentence has been totally changed, right? What did he see? We're all asking. Quid vidit? But he saw se, because se is filling the role of accusative direct object. It's performing its own role in the sentence because se is a pronoun, not an adjective. All right, so that's the big difference between ipse and se. If you can take the himself out of the English sentence, that means you should, and it doesn't change the meaning, that means you should probably translate it as ipse, ipsa, ipsum. Otherwise, sui, se. All right, I hope this helps. See you in class tomorrow.